Right. I think we are live. Let's see. I think we are live. Are we live? Do let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if we're coming through, okay? Let me know in the chat if we are coming through, okay? Or let me know if it's lagging or anything like that. Good afternoon, Barros. Yeah, let me know how it's coming through. Barros Lee, let me know how it's coming through because I am using a different software now to stream from. So let me know what's going on. All good. Am I coming through okay audio wise, camera wise, screen wise? Let me know because yeah, I'm using different software now, which I promised you guys. Well, good. Okay, well, that's great. Well, welcome back to the stream. I do need to get some background music as well. I forgot to get that. I need to go and find some like copyright-free background music to put on this because I'm not on StreamYard anymore. We are now streaming on OBS, which hopefully looks a bit better to you guys. I think the screen should be a bit more filled out than it was, and I think hopefully, yeah, it's just the quality and everything else should seem a little better. So let me know in the chat. So we got we've got Nick in as well and John. How we doing, everyone? Let me know. Is the quality or anything seem better about streaming this way than previously? Let me know. I'm going to get the poll up now because we have US Open coming in 24 minutes. So do let me know in the poll where you think we're going on US Open. And then obviously we'll be covering everything on today's stream, what we need to. But yeah, please do let me know. How is the quality and how is it? Everyone's saying you're good, which is good. But how does it compare to what I was previously using? I think it's probably going to be better, particularly long term as well. It should be a lot better. But yeah, do let me know in the chat. Because, yeah, first time doing this. So I need to get some background music. So I'll find some background music for Friday, hopefully. That'll be my little mission. But yeah, please do, yeah, let me know what's going on. And if it seems better than obviously it did before, hopefully it does. But yeah, how are we all doing? I need to switch my heater on. Hang on. There we go. Get the heater coming through on me. So, looks better. Good. All right. Okay. Well, that's a good start. Thank you very much, Barros. Yeah, I need to get some. Good music for the background. So if anyone does know of any decent background music that would suit, that's copyright free, then yeah, let me know. I mean, I suppose it doesn't have to be copyright free. You just get marked down on everything else. Am I looking okay camera wise? Or I think from what I can see, the green screen might be covering some of my face. It might be like kind of dissolve me into the background. Let me know how that looks as well. But yeah, you're out of your box. I'm out of the box. What do you mean, John? What do you mean? We are live. Yes, we are, Steve-O. We're live on the new software. I'm not going to fart, mate. Don't worry. I'm not going to fart. But yeah, let me know about everything else. But I do need to get some background music on because it's a bit weird not having the background music like we normally have on obviously when we was on StreamYard. But yeah, what have we got going on for now? So obviously in terms of Bitcoin, we have rejected from the range high, haven't we? What are those funny noises? Shouldn't be any funny noises. If you're detecting something, it would be just people coming in and out because I've still got work going on at my house. So it'd be probably just people coming in and out for tools and things that they need. So if you do it, is that a cat? What are you going on about, Steve-O? I can't hear it. I can't hear anything. There shouldn't be any kind of background noise. I don't know if you're winding me up or not. Is it? Let me know, everyone else that's watching. Is Steve-O winding me up, or is there actually some sort of weird background noise. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know. Some deep breathing I hear. What? Steve-O, are you winding me up? Or what's going on? I don't think there shouldn't be anything. There shouldn't be any background noise. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. I don't know if Steve-O's winding me up or not. You guys let me know if he's winding me up or if he's being serious. But yeah, Bitcoin, obviously for now, has rejected from the range high. So if we zoom out there, you can see we came up and we slammed right into resistance, didn't we? Right into resistance here, which we actually did look at on Monday's stream. Obviously, we looked at. We wasn't there yet on Monday's stream, but we was making our way. We was about halfway here, wasn't we? And we did slam into 71k and just above, and then we nipped it back down. So for now, we have rejected from the range high again, which means we have open play throughout the whole range again. So failed breakout again, slammed into resistance like we did here, like we did here, like we did here. And then, of course, we got the failed breakout, but then rejecting from it again. So, obviously, unless we start to come back up, I'm caught up. Now, all good. What was you going on about? Is there a cat and some deep breathing? I don't know what you're going on about there, Steve. Was that a wind up or what? But yeah, unless we obviously come back up and start to test the range high, then anything obviously is on the cards in terms of a full breakdown down towards 66 to 65k, which is obviously typically, if you remove all emotion out of it, that is typically what you would expect when price comes up and rejects from resistance. You would expect some retrace down, unless obviously there is notable strength. Unless there's notable strength, which we may see come in. You know, if we stop here, and that is kind of the pullback done. Good morning to you, Wiz. How are we doing? Yeah, if that's the pullback done, then obviously we can come up here again and test it, which then may lead to a breakout. Otherwise, eyes on for any momentum that continues rolling over, which may lead us back down towards 66k. What about Doge and Pengu? We'll have a look at them, Barros. Don't you worry. Everyone that's joined, please do drop a like on the stream. So everyone make sure you drop a like. Also, let me know about the stream quality, because I am now streaming on some new software. So everything should be better, hopefully, in terms of what you're seeing on the screen. Hopefully I'm coming through a bit better as well, maybe audio-wise or visual-wise. But we are streaming on some new software now, so obviously any feedback is welcome. Everyone so far has said that it definitely looks better compared to previously. Need any company? Mate, I wish I knew how. You know what? Oh, that's gutting. I wish I knew how. I'm streaming on OBS now, Wiz. I'm streaming on OBS, so I don't even know how I would get you on. It's not as straightforward as StreamYard. I don't know how I would even get you on here. Maybe I'd have to get you on a Google Meet or something. Maybe I'd have to get you on a Google Meet. We could try that, to be fair, if you want to. We could try getting you on a Google Meet. But in terms of getting guests on when you're streaming on OBS, I've got no idea. Obviously on StreamYard it's very straightforward. You just ping a link. But for this, obviously all new to me for streaming on here, I have no idea how you would get guests on. We could definitely try it. I'm sure everyone in the chat would love a Wiz special today as well. So just give me a second and I will try and pull up a Google Meet and see if we can do it that way. Let's see, if I create an instant meeting here, then hopefully this should do it. Let's see. Let me have a go at this. We're learning live on stream here. Right. Let me ping you the link, Wizzo. Let me ping you the link and see what happens from there. See if we can get you on. I've pinged you a link in Telegram. Wants to go away. I'm mic only anyway. Yes, yeah. I mean that. Hopefully that's what will work. If you join that Google Meet now, then hopefully we should have you loud and clear through, which will obviously be good. But this is obviously very interesting. Once to enter picture in page, so you can use it on top of other tabs and windows. Let me know when you've tried to join with. I don't know if I'll have to admit you or not. But yeah, this is obviously this is a good learning curve for obviously having guests on. Let's see how it goes. But I have pinged you the link on Telegram, so yeah, we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so that's obviously what Bitcoin's looking like for the meantime. From here, logically, we're either going to come up and have another crack at it, which you would say another crack at this, and surely it's got to break again. Surely it's got to break again. What I have been seeing is a lot of noise around STRC, which obviously is being suggested that MicroStrategy have basically bought over $1 billion on Monday and Tuesday, which we'll get Wiz's opinion on that. I don't know whether to believe it or not, and I don't know whether it's true. But if it's true, and obviously STRC is really starting to get some traction, and they are getting a lot of revenue from that, then strategy itself could just keep eating through the sell wall and then ping us through, which obviously is one option for a breakout, is just demand from strategy, just eating up the sell wall. Let's see. Admit one guest. Admit. Let's see. Right. Wizzo.
Hello.
Right. You are on. Right. So obviously this is where everyone else comes into play. Let us know in the chat if you can hear Wiz fine. Give us a little interlude. Give us a little interlude, Wiz, so we can give a test for the chat.
Is that better? Am I coming through loud and clear?
Let's see. Let us know in the chat. Is Wiz coming through loud and clear? This is obviously this is a good learning curve for streaming on OBS.
Your audio turned on OBS.
I think so. Let's wait for everyone in the chat. I've got no comments yet, but hopefully someone will let us know soon. All good, yeah. Apparently, yeah. Everyone can hear you, Wiz.
Oh, fantastic. Nice. How are we doing?
Yes, all good. Also, if there is any, all right, so it's all good, very clear. There's no kind of like echo or anything, because obviously I don't know whether it be coming through the microphone and desktop or what. But I mean, if it's all good, everyone says it. Lee and Barros have said it's all fine so far. So there we go. We're on to a winner, Wiz. Yeah. So, what's good? What's good, Wiz?
I'm alright. I came back for CPI print. I went and watched the sunset and then came back for CPI print, which basically was a nothing burger, came in line. And just seeing the markets go a little bit doolally.
Yeah.
Some nice opportunities though. Some nice opportunity there. I've been trading stuff more on a swing basis anyway. So that's been pretty fun. But yeah, it's been a nice month trading at least.
Yeah, I mean the volatility has been crazy, hasn't it? Particularly, I mean, even for Bitcoin, the volatility has been great the past week or week to 10 days. Aki says too silent. Is that the case for everyone else, or is that the case for everyone else, or what?
I'll move my mic a bit closer.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's a case. Let everyone else let us know. Is everyone else, for everyone else, we come through fine? Hopefully we are, because obviously this is straight away the route to getting you on solved. If that's the case, just fire up a Google Meet and get you in. It's not as easy as StreamYard, but obviously I think moving over to OBS, hopefully the overall stream quality should be better. Barros says Bitcoin is trying to jump up. Yeah, so yeah, I mean the volatility has been great. Volume is low. Right, let me see if I can do anything then on OBS itself. Let's see.
Maxed out.
You maxed out on my desktop volume, yeah. Let me see audio. Right, desktop audio is disabled, so should I put that?
Yeah, desktop audio on.
Right, it's not even got another. It's not got another option for that.
My mic threshold up.
Could be louder. I got earbuds in. Could be louder. Yeah, what's annoying is it's not giving me another option when I go down on desktop audio. It's not got anything to enable. Doesn't say anything about enabling.
That's not good.
Hmm.
I'll speak loud then. I'll amplify my voice.
Yeah. Or I'll just move my mic closer to obviously where the sound is coming from the desktop. Hopefully that will do the trick. But apart from that, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to have a look. Monitoring device. Yeah, I'll have to have a look. Obviously,
we'll have a look. We'll have a look in future. Because I need to work out streaming on OBS as well.
Wiz just shout. Well, I have moved the mic closer to obviously where the volume comes out, so hopefully that's a little bit better.
I've got my mic basically in front of my face. I will admit I am watching Cheltenham on the iPad next to it, and the charts on my laptop.
Yeah. Yeah. So BPN saying looking for 67k. If bounced in, maybe 75. So that's what BPN's looking for.
Let me have a look at my chart.
And Steve-O is saying strategy bought. So that was the announcement from last week. They've announced that, but what I have been monitoring, and Wiz obviously, I don't know how your knowledge of this is, and obviously if you can shed us some light, but I'll pull it up now because I've been following it the last 2 days, and I'm not exactly sure what is going on with it. But I will.
BPN. I was on Brighter Days Ahead, so that was a bit annoying. But I had 2 winners at Cheltenham yesterday. I had 2 good winners at Cheltenham.
Yeah. So.
But yeah.
So this is obviously what I've been watching the past couple of days. Let me go and. So this was this was Monday. So this is relating to STRC, which is obviously getting a lot of traction. Because of the dividends.
It's an interesting product, isn't it?
So they're reporting that it's estimated that Sailor and Strategy. Now, obviously, this isn't related to what they bought last week. Obviously, last week they bought nearly 18,000. This is going on a day-by-day basis. So this was on Monday. It said it was estimated that Strategy had bought 1,360 Bitcoin today via STRC. And then obviously yesterday then there was another one. So I'm not exactly sure how people are judging this based on, I don't know what it is with STRC, and then again yesterday it is now estimated that Strategy bought over 2,000 Bitcoin today. So obviously that was Tuesday, yesterday, another new daily record. So there's some monitoring going on here. I don't know whether it's related to the STRC buying volume or I have no idea where obviously these numbers are being pulled from. But yeah, do you got any idea, Wiz, or not?
Yeah, it's a very interesting product because it's quite unique. They use a mechanism where it basically moves between dividend and buybacks. So it's essentially a preferred share. So they're the first to get paid out if anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
But basically the derivative is the target is that it always stays around $100.
Yeah.
And so when it goes above $100, they issue shares at the market value, and then as it goes below, they cut the dividend.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's a money raising element. It allows people to get out and people to get in.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting.
Yeah. So this is obviously. So I'm guessing this has been the primary source of their funds, because they've been having some big buys recently, haven't they? Obviously, I mean, last week, I think that must have been their biggest buy for a good long time. It was like 1.3 billion, wasn't it?
Yeah, because essentially they're using it as a Bitcoin-backed loan. That's what it is. So it's basically with that as a derivative, you can get monthly yield, and the volatility is low because it always hugs around 100.
Right. Yeah.
It's a very interesting way of doing it. There are some other companies that do it as well. You see it a little bit in infrastructure that they use it, but essentially, yeah, it's a preferred share.
Right. Got you. Yeah. So I've found that interesting. Just obviously just monitoring that. Oh, we got Strive buying 179 more Bitcoin. But yeah, I've just been monitoring that. So Bitcoin's getting a little push up now, actually. But I've been monitoring what has been going on with that the past 2 days because it interests me because I don't really understand it, but that's a really good explanation that you've provided there, Wiz. And obviously gives the insight into just obviously how strategies keep being able to buy because the company itself doesn't really make any money, does it? So obviously this is where they're generating all the money from.
Well, this is one of my because I like strategy, and I think that they've got a very interesting business model and an interesting opportunity, and it's similar to what a lot of the institutions I think will end up going for as well. Is ultimately, I think at some point the money it'll flip from the money being in perps, or at least be some of it be displaced by money in options and IBIT.
Yeah.
Or even when that comes on chain potentially with DEX providers, that would allow you then to be able to sell options on your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which essentially then turns what is traditionally a non-yielding asset into a yielding asset. Like if you can put your Bitcoin up and you get 4 or 5% interest, etc., it then turns it into that income generating asset, which Bitcoin was always never done. And it's the same with gold. You see it now that people will sell various call option strategies on gold in order to earn a yield.
Yeah.
And then you can use that yield as dividends. That's essentially what that asset is trying to do.
Got you. Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I mean it's fascinating, isn't it? But so what else have you? I assume you've been having a good few trades and a good close eye on oil this week.
Yes.
I need to
nice
move oil up,
I've not been doing much. I longed it, and I started to do some interesting positions on it. But I was long oil in my ISA from an average entry of 58, and my average exit was about 106.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I think a lot of the winners will be US producers. There's some interesting plays. Certainly, I think I spoke about it in today's video. But one play that I'm starting to do now is I'm buying future oil because future oil is very, very cheap. It's very, very cheap, which is it means that the market is basically pricing in a short-term disruption. Yeah. It could get very hairy. But yeah, that's.
So where do you buy future oil?
So you can buy it on there's a few brokerages. I won't name them on here because we're not involved. You can do it on there. Essentially, there's a chart on TradingView I flashed up. It's CL1 future prices, and it basically it's a future curve and it shows the price down. It's an interesting asset. But yeah, what else? I like chemicals. I think I spoke about it. Anything that has non-Middle Eastern exposure, I like. But I've also the big one is the petrochemicals. I think the world has a lot of oil. The beauty of the Gulf is that they do a lot of refining and a lot of specialist products, which is where you get all your petrochemicals. So that's why jet fuel, for instance, a lot of jet fuel comes out of that Gulf, which is why you're seeing airlines raise prices by 10-15%.
Yeah.
It's because there's not a whole lot of refining that's done. The Gulf refines a lot of the oil that it sends out and the petroleum products. Helium as well. So the South Korea, one of the reasons you see in South Korea and Japan down is essentially a lot of the world's helium. I think it's 2/3 of the world's helium comes out of Qatar.
Right. Okay.
And helium's quite crucial for various bits, including like MRI scans, etc., for cooling and memory.
Oh, right, okay, got you. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Fertilizer as well. That one's starting to make the make the headlines. Anyone in Crypto Saving Expert will have in the Discord will have seen me talking about my wheat position last week. But that's a very, very interesting chart, because if we have no fertilizer coming out of the Gulf when the farmers go to plant for next year, is you're going to see not a whole lot of wheat in the world.
So what's the ticker for wheat?
If you type in wheat, it comes up. You'll find futures for it. But that's the one that I'm very interested in at the moment.
Let's see. Wheat CFD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's have a little look at it. We are open as well for US market, by the way, so...
My Cheltenham runner gave me nothing in the first.
I haven't had any bets on that yet, to be fair. I'm not really a big better.
I like my racing. I like my racing.
It's open, yes, we are open. Barros, I've rang the bell.
Ring your bell.
So obviously this, yes, because I remember, obviously back in, leading into early 2022, obviously this big
Ukraine
spike,
war.
yeah, because I think Ukraine itself is a big producer of wheat, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you look at
that. That's a breakout.
That is some good accumulation there as well. Some good accumulation on wheat. I mean, the thing is, markets trade so much more fast and volatile compared to what they used to, don't they? So,
yeah,
you know, this could pop up towards $800,000-$900,000 maybe, a lot faster than it came down. I mean, I think everything just seems to trade a lot more volatile. You know, especially over in stocks, and I mean, yeah, just looking at oil as well over the past 2 weeks. Everything just seems to trade so much more volatile and so much more fast.
Yeah, well, even from a pure supply and demand element, you then also have on this, you're pricing in inflation, because this wheat is basically a product that every single person on the planet consumes a day, unless you're gluten intolerant.
What's the one thing that you think of when you hear the word wheat?
Flour.
See, I always just think of digestive biscuits. Because McVitie's have got them printed, like some wheat printed on it, haven't they? On digestive biscuits. That's what I don't know about everyone else. Everyone, let us know in the chat. What do you think when you hear the word wheat? Yeah, I just think of digestive biscuits, but Wiz thinks of flour, which probably is a more reasonable one, but I just always think of digestives. But yeah, we are open, and yeah, Bitcoin's making a good push for it, to be fair. How was the CPI print was low, weren't it, today?
It was in line.
Yes.
But this one was pre-war anyway.
Yeah.
And it had already ticked up last month.
Yeah.
So
look at Bitcoin go here.
Still, is it having a rally?
It's nearly back towards 71k now. Obviously, in line with the S&P, you can see, you know, over the past kind of 45 minutes, half an hour, the S&P has been pushing up. So Bitcoin has obviously been given that nice little bit of breathing room from the S&P as well. But I mean, yeah, when we started this stream, obviously we was back down towards 69.5, and I was saying obviously about, you know, the importance of coming up here. We could get a potential breakout here. I mean, look at how many times. There's only so many times price can test an area before obviously it breaks. Now, over the past, month or so, you know, we've had, if we zoom out on there, we have had, so we came down, then we pushed back up, so there's 1 test, 2 test, 3 test, 4 test, because obviously a lot of that sell wall was eaten up on that fake out there. And then 5 tests. So this is the 6th test now. Depending on obviously how you want to count it, you know, maybe you could, if you want to count this as 1 test. I personally wouldn't, because the pullback was actually quite decent on that, back down towards 69. But, you know, definitely 5 or 6 tests of this resistance. So, you know, it's only going to hold for so long before we inevitably, hopefully anyway, get a breakout.
That's a push and a half. Have you seen Oracle?
I haven't, no. see.
Oracle is up 13 on the day.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's pushing. Yeah, that's pushing back to the. Which was the one? Was it Oracle or was it Oklo that was just stupidly priced and they were basically just operating
Oklo.
out of a warehouse? Or was it Oklo? Oh yeah,
Oklo.
there it is. That's back down. God, yeah. I mean, that has had a deep retrace on it. Jesus Christ, look at that.
Tell you what is an interesting one is hymns.
Do you know what? I was going to
down,
send you this the other
down.
day. Yeah.
It was up 40%, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to send it, and I forgot. I mean, look at that. There you go. Straight into the box. Straight into the box. So that bit of TA that we must have done a while ago was on hymns, because I haven't looked at hymns, obviously, on my own. That bit of TA there is holding quite well. But yeah, I saw that it was up 40%, and straight away, obviously, that is a U stock in it. So I was meant to pop it into the Discord, but forgot. One thing.
Yeah, I had an entry at 17.5.
Of course you did.
That was a nice one.
But one
There's
thing
a few others that are up big today.
Yeah.
Have you looked at Nebius? NBIS?
No. We'll go and have a look at that.
One of my favourites. That is up 13 on the day as well.
We'll go have a look at that in a minute, but obviously, I mean, the star of the show across anything has been Circle on it. I mean, that has been what a recovery. Did you scoop any up when we was down there, or?
I did. I scooped up some. I will admit I am in a short from 115, which is not particularly good. But yeah, I caught a nice long up from around 64.
Yeah, I mean,
squeezing nicely.
Potentially, is this kind of front running?
It's front running
the Clarity Act, or some
it's
obviously
front running that.
Yeah, so obviously anyone that may be getting FOMO, obviously just be a bit careful, because any day, any week, any month, we could obviously get that passed through, which is obviously bullish. Actually, is it bullish stable coins, or is it not? Because is it bullish stable coins?
Overall, yeah. I mean, ultimately, you want more in the system. The one that I'm really interested in is Coinbase. I've started building along on that. From around 170 was my average entry.
Yeah. I mean, all these have snapped back so hard. I mean, if you look at the big three, I'm going to remove Gemini from that list, because that is just toast in it. But, if you look at the big three, obviously, from the low, which, you just never, most of the time, you're never going to pinpoint the low. But I assume probably a lot of people did set bids around $100 just for the fact it was $100 on strategy. But, anywhere from in and around there, you're up, 20, 30, 40% on MSTR, particularly when it was towards its highs last Wednesday. You look at Coinbase, very much the same. Came down towards 140. Anywhere in and around there, that's a solid 38% currently as it stands. And then, of course, Circle, which is probably approaching like 150% or something stupid. If you say, for instance, you bought at $50, you were lucky enough to get that, or let's take 55. That was quite a good settlement on the price there. That's 118%. So, them three have bounced back very hard. And it's fascinating to see, because obviously we've not actually had really any movement in the actual crypto market, have we? It's just they've just
been fairly stagnant.
Yeah, but they have kind of been the first movers and moving first. Yeah, Bitcoin's going for it. It's now at 71k. So we are pushing, and we're pushing with strength as well. I mean, that is a fast move, isn't it? I wonder if what Bitcoin Magazine posting is true, and we are just now getting daily twat buys by strategy, because we are getting some serious pushing now, aren't we?
Well, it just keeps knocking on the door, and at some point it's going to break it.
Yeah.
But it's just playing that till it does.
Yeah. I mean, literally, this zone that we're in now, 71k. Up towards kind of like 71.5, maybe even 72 if you want to extend it a bit of courtesy. That's where the sell wall is. This will be where the sell wall is. So Bitcoin's eating that now. Obviously, as we've been pushing, 70k or up towards 71, obviously that has just ate through more of the sell wall. And has obviously pushed through now up towards 71k. So that there is only so much, like Wiz says, there's only so much knocking on the door that it can do, and obviously before it just eats the sell wall and then pops, or obviously the sell wall gets lifted.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch for sure. Coinbase is the one that I think will be the biggest beneficiary, just because of the amount of different lines of business they have.
Yeah. I think probably when they were going against it, wasn't they? They were going against it about it was a few weeks ago, weren't it? I think probably that's just a bit of psyops in it. Just a bit of kind of trying to cool down maybe the excitement around it. So obviously the big players could get positioned. I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me anyway.
Felt that way.
But I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens here. I suppose. Technically, I suppose we are in a short area, aren't we? Because we're at resistance, but it could just pop right through it, couldn't it?
Yeah.
It could just pop. Yeah. It could just pop all the way through. We've got some decent viewership. Do let us know in the chat who's watching. Let us know if you want me to cover anything or you want us to discuss anything in particular. But yeah, Bitcoin's had a great run the past hour or so. And yeah, we're getting some nice movement on it now. So what else have you been looking at, Wiz? Or is that kind of what's been taking up your time? Obviously the excitement around oil and everything else in that matter.
Yeah, I was well positioned on energy. I'm in a period now where I'm trying to find what the next big theme is, and I'm really curious as to what it could potentially be. I tell you what, I did take a short on. I took a short on Victoria's Secrets.
Oh right, okay.
Obviously I had that mega long up from the bottom.
Yeah.
I took a short on that around 63.8 was my entry.
Yeah.
And that had a big candle down straight into my TP of $50.
Ah, right, nice.
But I'm just waiting for things to settle down a little bit now. I want some interesting entries on things. I like natural resources and will continue to buy those. That's my biggest holding. Yeah, I don't own a lot of crypto outside of Bitcoin at the moment, so I'm waiting to see when it's altcoin time. I have some nice hyperliquid spot bags which are doing all right. My lighter is very much in the toilet.
Suppose probably most of that was probably free though, weren't it?
Yeah, exactly. At some point that'll turn a corner, but it's a bit of a painful one so far. I wish I'd sold that one at $3. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff. I think it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. I think there's going to be some interesting geopolitics certainly over the next 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, just as we're speaking, Bitcoin, low time frame wise, has rejected off 71k again. We're now back down towards 70,700. So it's started to erase that upwards move already. And that's being met by a sharp rejection for now anyway, unless we can push back up. We are still only within the first 15 minutes of US Open, but yeah, it's retracing it pretty quickly. I got a feeling we pump till the weekend and then dump on everyone, says Steve-O.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, you've got now in this scenario is a lot of if you're in TradFi, basically you're now asking yourself on a Friday, if nothing's happened, do I particularly want to be exposed over the weekend?
Yeah.
No. because
Yeah.
so much can happen. So much can happen, especially with the longer the straight stays shut. And in all honesty, I think the straight will be not a lot will move out of the straight for a while. Oil's interesting because there is the world has so much oil. There's a glut, but it's obviously the supply shock. And the beauty of the Middle East always was that it was a very, very good spec of oil that yielded quite a nice range of petrochemicals.
Yeah.
Without going too into it, essentially all oil is not the same. You have different densities, and that gives it properties for refining. And you have refineries that are geared towards that.
Yeah.
Middle Eastern oil is pretty much one of the best grades you get. The Malaysian grade is the best in the world, but the Middle Eastern, it gives you the perfect range of petrochemicals that come out of it.
Right.
And a lot of those niche petrochemicals go into so much of everything, because there's petrochemicals in every single facet of your life, whether it be like pharmaceuticals, fertilizer for the food, plastics, helium. It's all of those weird things that I think will catch a strong bid.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you actually pronounce that straight? How do you know the actual correct pronunciation of it? Because the Strait
of Hormuz.
Right, yeah, I completely butchered it on my video yesterday. I've been trying to avoid saying it all week. I've been avoiding putting it.
I saw the video where you refused to say it. The strait that must not be named.
Yeah, so that was on Monday, and then yesterday I'd put it in. I called it the Strata Hormuz. I had no idea how to say it. Go on, say it again for me, Wiz.
The Strait of Hormuz.
Right, the Strait of Hormuz. Right, there you go. I've got it now. Yeah, on Monday I just flatly refused to say it. I just
not moose.
What?
Moose, not moose.
The Strait of Hormuz.
That's it.
The Strait of Hormuz. Right, yeah, I got it. But yeah, on Monday I just refused to say it because I didn't know how to get the correct pronunciation of it, so I left it off. But yesterday I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna say it, and yeah, I definitely completely butchered it. Yeah, we got new 2020 ENG saying yo in the chat, and we have someone asking us to answer a financial advice question, which we are not going to. So unfortunately for you, my friend, we cannot answer that. And you probably know that you just can't come in and ask something like that. You can ask anything you want, but we can't give you an answer to that type of question. We can give you an educational, which, to be fair, when we was up towards 71k, I did give a little bit of educational input and said, technically we was in, a point of resistance area, which, risk reward wise, you could have took a short on based on obviously just pure charting, not financial advice. But yeah, there we go. We're back down towards 70,250 now. So we've retraced a lot of that upwards movement. So low time frame wise, it's looking like another rejection on Bitcoin. And has Sailor fired another load, which he's now ran out of ammo for. Steve-O saying the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. Is that it? Yeah. The Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait of Hormuz, yeah.
Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. I'll try and remember that for when I next mention it. Obviously, the Strait of Hormuz is on the thumbnail today, with some little ships and US flags and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, that was pretty.
You've been killing it with the thumbnails.
You are?
You've been doing very, very well with the thumbnails.
I've been trying. Do you know what it is? And you're probably suffering from this as well, Wiz. Is when the market, obviously, anything to do with Iran and oil and stuff, day to day, that you've got kind of an easy hit there, haven't you? Because it's the one narrative that's topical each day. But in terms of the crypto market, it is so hard to try and come up with like a title or a thumbnail or something, because literally we're just going nowhere, aren't we? So it's like you kind of run out of ideas when you're trying to do a crypto related thumbnail or title, because you get to a point where you're like, bloody, like we're still at the same price we was a month ago. So I don't know if you're suffering from that yet or not. So I've been trying to get a bit creative in terms of other things outside of, just typical crypto icons and stuff like that. But yeah, so
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
it's you got to get a bit creative until we get some the next wave of volatility. Whether that be up or down. What is kind of your gut telling you is obviously you've got a great macro outlook on obviously all markets, but is kind of your estimation on evaluating everything. Do you think that we have bottomed at 60k, or do you think potentially we have another extended leg down?
I think macro-wise, I think it gets bad.
Yeah.
I think it gets bad.
I
Because
think we
ultimately,
have.
I don't see how this ends quickly.
Yeah.
I don't see how this ends quickly. Like, they're not going to come to the table. The workarounds is interesting. Obviously, Saudi have ramped up some of their pipeline to the Red Sea. There's a certain group that I won't name in a place called Yemen that could make things a little bit more perilous in that strait as well. And if both the Gulf and the Suez are both shut, that would wreak havoc. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, the longer it stays, if oil stays this high, we're gonna see a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
The big one to watch data wise, I think CPI was interesting. I suspected it would either come in line or just slightly hotter because it basically was the period before, and we'd already seen an increase. But the one to watch is on Thursday. It's PPI, Producer Price Index, because that'll be the first sign that inflation is creeping back into it, because that's essentially that's businesses' cost. That's the inflation impact for businesses. It's a bit harder to pass that on to consumers, which is why CPI is a little bit slower to come behind. But that'll be really interesting because energy getting expensive for business is where it really hurts.
Yeah. I think also, obviously with them things you've tied in there as well, is stock market wise, we've basically been going up for a year straight, haven't we? But now we've kind of put in what looks like kind of like a rounded top pattern. But I mean, either way, on the S&P, it failed to break above 7k on it, and it stayed there basically all year, up towards just ping-ponging in that range. But we have had, if you look on the daily or the weekly, but I've just got the weekly pulled up at the moment. Depending on obviously how this week closes, you've got an actual range breakdown there now on the S&P, where we came up, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? We got that bounce, or Monday, I can't remember. But when you're looking at it on the weekly there, that's kind of like an underside rejection from, where we was trading on the S&P. So, you tie, obviously, an impending S&P retrace, which, who knows how deep it could go, because, we've basically had no pullbacks for a whole year. It could get pretty nasty, couldn't it?
It could get very, very nasty, and it doesn't look healthy. There's a few things actually that I've got my eye on. It's I think financial services is interesting as a potential short for the US markets, because I think that'll be something that gets taken out. I'm looking at shorts on XLF, which is the ETF. I'm also very, obviously, I think I've mentioned to pretty much everyone, but I'm quite long on Brazil.
Oh, yes, you've spoke about Brazil, haven't you? Yeah.
Petrobras, I don't know if anybody followed me in from the newsletter, but that is starting to look very, very nice.
Yes, I gave your newsletter section a bump in one of my short videos the other day. I think it might have been... It was either Friday. I think it was Friday, yeah. Obviously, your oil analysis was absolutely bob on. I think on the screenshot that you put in the newsletter last week, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was in the 70s. And then as I was filming the video, oil was at like 88.
Yeah.
So you know, it was absolutely bob on.
Yeah, no, that's Petrobras is very, very interesting. That's something to watch. Brazil in general, because the chart, I think I've showed you before, haven't I, where you do the custom tickers, and the S&P has been underperforming emerging markets for a while now. I don't particularly want exposure to the emerging markets. That will be interesting will be the Asian markets, because this oil will really start to hurt them. I think, as I mentioned to you on the call today, didn't I? But it's they're very, very reliant, which is why you're starting to see measures being implemented, because you have in commodities what's called a phenomenon called demand destruction, which is a price in which things get to where it begins to then destroy demand.
Yeah.
And it's not it basically testing the upper end of the price elasticity. So think of it like when heating gets expensive for your house, you use heating less, therefore you're destroying demand.
Yeah.
You're starting to see that, but you see that on a bigger scale, and that is a very, very bad place to be from an economics point of view. And obviously they're a lot more sensitive to price because it's a lower income economy and it's priced in dollars, and the dollar's getting stronger as well.
Yeah, kind of the perfect storm, innit?
Yeah, 100%.
The perfect cocktail.
Because the dollar's surging. The dollar's surging because of, obviously it's war.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a deep retrace on Bitcoin, low time frame there, all the way back down sub 70k. But yeah, I mean, great little bit of wisdom there from Wiz. Obviously, just for anyone maybe that doesn't know, what exactly is emerging markets, Wiz? When you labelled it emerging markets, like what is kind of in that bracket? Just for anyone that maybe is a bit unsure.
Markets that are a bit smaller. So there's different measurements in terms of who gets bundled into what ETFs, but essentially think of it as your non-major markets. So you've got to an extent you've got from here. So you've got Thailand, Malaysia, those types of places. You have the UAE was one, but there's a bit of a kick-off because they're getting kicked out of some of them now. But it's those smaller markets, like think South America.
Brazil,
so obviously
your Brazil,
Argentina.
Your Brazil one.
Yeah, Latin America is very good because ultimately everything is quite cheap, and they're on the right side of the world from a commodities perspective. You can ship pretty much anywhere in the world quite easily.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, but it's those smaller economies. They're much more sensitive, but obviously you're buying stuff at much lower valuations.
Yeah. I mean that's a great explanation of it, because I think I asked you, but I wasn't sure what it was. I think it might have been the last time you jumped on stream.
Yeah, you have like developed world. You might have developed world, which will be like UK, US. But it's those lower income countries. So you typically, they're a lot more sensitive, but you have some emerging markets which have really pushed through the parapet. So China, for example, for a very long time, and to be fair, technically still is in some ETF holdings, etc., is a emerging market.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, fascinating. Obviously, for anyone that was wondering, there's a pinpoint explanation from Wizzo there. We've got Dip to the Moon saying, I like straightforward titles, just put episode number, range of today, add a picture to the background of hot news topics, and you're done. Yeah, well, I suppose that would be a very straightforward and easy way of doing it. Dip to the Moon. Thank you for your suggestion. Yeah, obviously any input or suggestions is always welcome to us. But I mean, in terms of obviously crypto related and Bitcoin related, we are still stuck within the range. We came back up. We rejected off 71k again. Are we going to maybe go for a second time? And if we go again low time frame here, then it really is. It's basically doing everything right apart from actually breaking out. You know, it's not selling off that deep. It's staying around it and it keeps banging its head on it. So if it does keep doing that, then you know it's sensible to assume that a breakout is imminent, unless we do get a sharp sell off, which then we can look down towards the range low again. But I mean, as it stands, it seems very resilient. So yeah, we'll obviously see where it goes from that aspect. Let's see what the S&P is doing now. So the S&P is basically break even on the day in terms of futures. I'm not sure what it is on the session. I think on the session it may be just slightly up. But in terms of the overall day, there we go. Firing back to the upside now. Nvidia.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean a lot of these Mag 7 stocks, they've been in consolidation for a while. You got Tesla there up nearly 4% today. Look at that. Want to move on Tesla? Up 4% today, curving up nicely. But I mean, yeah, you look at something like Nvidia and you go to the weekly chart.
I'm long 178 on Nvidia.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that. That has been in consolidation now since August. You know, we're talking about Bitcoin being in consolidation for a month. That is at the same price it was back in August, roughly. So, you know, these things, it's only going to stay in consolidation for so long. You know, this is a very lengthy consolidation on Nvidia. Let's see what else is doing it. Apple, not so long, but again, you know, Apple, you look there, same price as it was back in October, and as you can see, it's just basically moved within this region here. Meta, same thing, kind of October, November-ish. So, I mean, that drop down on Microsoft was brutal, weren't it? Like all the way basically back down towards the tariff lows of last year.
Yeah, it was not pretty. I've got to drop now, Dave. I need to get some food and I have to go out and meet someone. So
yeah, no worries, mate.
I shall leave you, and everyone have a fun rest of the trading day.
Yeah, thank you for joining, mate. It's always welcome, and yeah, go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And that was Wiz. So yeah, obviously big up Wiz. Always great to have him on, and get his input and wisdom on, you know, the overall state of the markets and obviously anything that he is looking at. So it's always great to have Wiz on. But in terms of Bitcoin, what we want to see is obviously, and it is going for it now again. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart. We may see, and if it wants to do it, hopefully it can do it before we go off stream. But it looks like it does want to get another test, and it is coming up for another test of 71 now. It's coming up for another one. So let's see what we can do here. But as it stands, it's coming back up low time frame, and that sell off didn't last long, did it? Which is a positive sign. Obviously, when you get a rejection from a level and it sells off, obviously the ideal scenario is the sell off isn't very big and it bounces back straight away, which is what it's done so far. So all we need is obviously that pop up above 71, start closing above 71.5 on the hourly and the 4 hour hopefully, and then finally obviously that daily close above there. Higher the better, you know, 72, 73, 74k would be better. The higher the better on the daily close to really solidify that range break. But it's trying again, and obviously this just shows how difficult this area is for the price. You know, it keeps knocking on the door, keeps banging its head, and it just can't push through. So that, you know, the sell wall is thick. But once it does, hopefully we should see a good pop. But yeah, good bit of volatility for on stream today. I hope everyone has enjoyed the new format of the streams in terms of the software that we're using, and you know, kind of the output and delivery to you guys. I will source some good background music so we can have some good background music on, because obviously I think that's the one thing that's missing that we had on StreamYard, of some decent background music while the stream's going on. It just makes it that little bit better when you're just either listening in the background or just listening in general. The fact that you've got something additional to my voice. So I definitely will source some good background music for us for Friday's stream. And then, yeah, that's kind of like the icing on the cake for this new way of streaming. But again, looks like we're going to be falling off on Bitcoin. It is doing that anyway on this 5-minute candle. It's tailing off a bit, so we just need to see a breakout, don't we? That's all we need. And then obviously, hopefully, then, you know, you roll into everything else. Everything lining up as one big trade. Let's go and have a look at Solana on the daily. You know, Solana, yeah. All these kind of lined up. You can see they're all towards the range highs, aren't they? ETH as well. Obviously, just waiting for Bitcoin to give it. So Bitcoin goes first, which, you know, is what we typically see. Bitcoin go first, and then everything else follow as everything else catches up. You know, ETH there, Solana, and then obviously you can judge for yourself that apart from Hype, obviously Hype is just doing its own thing. Hype's going out on its own and pushing on its own. But then everything else, in theory, should then begin to follow in some aspect. Link there, you know, again, we looked at Link the other day, didn't we? But you can see there, just from the naked eye, straight away, bang, draw your range high resistance on Link there. And again, you know, looking at Solana, looking at ETH, all as Link needs, and, you know, anything else within reason, is that green light from Bitcoin. You flip this area here to support, and then up we go. Hopefully, works out that way anyway. But yeah, please do make sure you drop a like on the stream. If you are new, subscribe. And of course, make sure you join the Stonksy Discord. It's first link in the description. And if you do want anywhere to trade, obviously we've got links in the description for that too. But yeah, should be exciting. You know, hopefully if we can get a decent Bitcoin move into the end of the week, Friday stream should be a good one. If we can end up towards 80k, that would obviously make it absolutely fantastic to come and look at on stream. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today, guys. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you for spending your time in the stream. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Make sure, of course, you are keeping an eye out on the Stonksy X account for the daily short videos that are going up. And, of course, I will have a YouTube video out as well this week. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.